Hi, this is lesson one for plants. You are going to need this paper. You picked it up on your way in. Okay. And, whoops, I guess that's as far as that it goes. And you're going to need this paper. You also picked this up on your way in. And last time you had the Poggle. You might want to have that out. It's always good to kind of keep it around and make sure that you're keeping this and it's in your notes. Okay. All right. Let's talk about. Oh, guys, I love plants. Not sure if I have told you how much I love plants. Okay. So, well, let me back up a little bit. Okay. You are going to get this paper. Okay. First thing we always do is put our name on it. Okay. Today's date is, I'm recording this on 3/5. And plant structure. Okay, so I have some cues for you over here, and I know this is a little different than we've done notes in the past, but I'm kind of trying to teach you how to do your own notes, like when someone's not giving you notes to fill out. Okay, so structure of plants. So the structure is what things look like how they're made, how they're put together, and then the function is what things do. Okay, so they have to look a certain way because of how they function. So do animals. We have to look a certain way because we walk on two legs, which is kind of unusual for animals, right? But we have anatomy that makes that happen. Plants are the same way. Okay. Also, I have this amazing picture. I believe these are coastal redwoods. That's really how big they are. It's amazing. Okay. So plant structure. This looks like a typical plant, right? And it is. We usually have roots down here. Then we have some leaves coming up and a stem. Does this really not say stem on it? I don't think it does. We have some fruit happening, maybe some little buds. We have flowers. So we have different things. We're going to talk about some of these parts. Okay. Also, here is the stem. So inside a plant stem, so like right here, this is what it looks like inside. It has all these different layers. The ones that we're really concerned with and that we're going to need to know are phloem and xylem. Okay. Then leaf structure. We need to know that there are veins in leaves. And then we're going to talk about the cross structure of a leaf, and we're going to talk about most of those parts. Okay. So far on your paper, you should have written down what structure is, how something is built, and what function is. Function is how something works. Okay. So let's start talking about roots, stems, and leaves. Well, let's go back. Okay. So roots, what do roots do? Roots, they are in the dirt, right? And so they bring things up from the dirt to the rest of the plant. So right next to that, you're going to write on your paper here, you're going to write roots. They bring things up from the dirt, minerals and water, and they take it to the rest of the plant. Okay? It's the plant's liaison with the dirt. Okay? Then we have stems. Stems are what the roots use to take all of that stuff. It's like a highway, kind of, or like the pipes. Okay. And then leaves. What do you think leaves are for? We're so going to talk about this. Do you see all these little green dots? Those are chloroplasts. So, what do you think the leaves might be for? I hope you said photosynthesis. Leaves are where the photosynthesis happens. And then how does it get back down to the roots? Because the roots need the glucose, right? It goes back down the stem. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so right now you should have roots, what they do, stems, what they do, and leaves, what they do. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit more specific about leaves. Okay, so leaves have all these different layers of cells. Okay, here are two pictures of them. There's usually a picture of a leaf on our test. And I want to say there's also one on the STAR test usually. So we have the upper epidermis, okay, and it is cells. The cuticle is a layer. It's not cells necessarily. I had to look that up yesterday. It's a wax that the cells make and kind of secrete on the outside. And it's waxy so that it kind of seals the leaf so that water doesn't escape from it. Pretty smart. So we have the epidermis and the cuticle. Then we have this palisade mesophyll layer, okay? I think that we just need to know mesophyll layer and see all these little green dots? Those are all of our chloroplasts. So that is where most of the photosynthesis is happening. Then we have like a spongy layer of mesophyll, and that's where we have our veins, okay? This whole thing here is a vein, and then we have xylem inside and phloem inside, okay? Then we have a lower epidermis, and we have more cuticle to keep it from drying out. Okay, this is really cool. This little guy is a stoma, and the word stoma means mouth, and it's like a mouth. I'm going to show you a picture of it in a second, and it really does look like a mouth. Then it has these two very specialized cells on the outside of it, and they control whether the mouth is open or closed. Okay, when it's open, water can come out of it, other gases can come into it. Okay, but when it's closed, they usually close it because of water. They don't want to lose water. Okay, so on the leaves, I want you to make sure you have the epidermis, the cuticle, the mesophyll, and the stomata or stoma. So I am going to tell you, stoma is just the singular of stomata. Okay, so if we're just talking about one, it's a stoma. If we're talking about more than one, it's stomata. Okay, and then let's look over here at this picture. Okay, so these should look very similar. Here's our epidermis again, and the cuticle is just above here. This is interesting. It's showing guard cells and stoma on the top of the leaf. Usually they are on the bottom of the leaf, but I don't think it's impossible for them to be on the top. Then we have the palisade mesophyll. So that's where our photosynthesis is happening. Spongy mesophyll, and then we have our lower epidermis. We have our vein with xylem and phloem. And we have our stoma down here. The stoma is the hole, okay? And the guard cells are the two cells around the stoma, okay? Okay, let's talk a little bit more about stomata because they are really cool. See this picture right here? That is actually what they look like. Like, this is a picture of them. This looks like a closed mouth, and this looks like a big fish mouth, I think. It also kind of looks like a vagina, but maybe it's just me. So this is where gases come in and out. Wow, this is very blurry. And okay, the stoma is the hole. The cells around the stoma are the guard cells, and they fill up with water. When they are filled up with water, they open the stoma. And then when they are not filled with water, when the plant needs to conserve water, it closes the guard cells. So pretty cool. So water is usually the gas that we're talking about coming in and out of the stoma. Okay, so now we're going to talk about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens in the leaves. Photosynthesis is just an amazing process where plants literally take the stuff from the air and like our waste product from the air, and they combine it with sunlight and they make something out of it. That's amazing. I don't know that I will ever think that photosynthesis is not amazing. I hope that you'd appreciate it. So it happens in the leaves, and if you think about it, the leaves are kind of up and they catch the sunlight. Like it's a big broad, like leaves are kind of broad and flat. They have a surface that can really get the sunlight. So they take in carbon dioxide and water and sunlight, and then they spit out glucose and oxygen. So draw yourself a little leaf on your paper, okay? And remember, they take in carbon dioxide. So they're kind of like the opposite of animals, right? We breathe this out, they breathe it in. They take in carbon dioxide. They are catching the sun in their leaves. And they take water, right, where they get that from their roots, and it goes all the way up to the leaves, which is also amazing. They take those things and they make sugars, right? The sugar that we talk about here is glucose, and they let off oxygen, okay? So how does the water get up to the leaves from the roots? So this is amazing. It's like a big straw. Like it literally, it gets the roots, absorb it, and it goes, and y'all think about how big some of these trees are, like hundreds of feet, right? And it gets all the way to these guys up here. And it has to, because they're going to do photosynthesis. They get the most light, right? So the water goes all the way up the stem. A trunk is a woody stem. And these guys are making sugar up here, and they have to send it out to the rest of the tree. Maybe they're making flowers. They need some roots. Maybe they have like starchy roots like potatoes, right? So they have to send all that stuff back down. Okay. So that is how the water gets up and the sugar gets down. It goes through the stem. And wow, this is so blurry. The two tissues are xylem. You can see that one right here. Xylem, it takes water up, and phloem, it brings water down. Okay? Or I'm sorry, food down. So when I was first teaching, this really sweet woman that I worked with would always say, zip them up, flow them down. So you need to remember that xylem is for water, phloem is for food. Okay. So I also want you to remember, like, you can figure this out if you forget. If you forget, zip them up, flow them down. You can remember, well, xylem is water. So water comes from the dirt all the way up to the tree. So it has to go up. And then I hope that you can remember phloem. Phloem sounds like food. They have that same PH and F sound. So it takes the food and it has to go down. Okay. And this is just a leaf here, and you can see the vascular bundles. So just like we have a vascular system, plants do too. And it's their xylem and phloem, and it goes through veins just like ours does. And this is how they transport stuff, which is pretty cool. Okay, and here is some more xylem and phloem. So we have xylem that goes up, phloem comes down. I guess technically phloem can go either way, but I think xylem only goes up. So we can see this plant here, and look, there's some arrows here. Kind of hard to see, but I know. So the roots take up the water, right? And it takes them right up the plant. And then the leaves are making sugar, and then they bring them back down to the leaves. Okay. Over here, we have the same thing happening. This looks like a potato plant. Did y'all know that potatoes were roots? Um, so this potato plant gets its water from the dirt and it sends it up to the leaves. The leaves make the sugar and the starch, and then they send it back down to the roots, and the roots form these potatoes. Okay? All right, that is it for that. And now I would like you to get this paper, and let's talk about these diagrams here. Okay? Let me see if I can make this a little easier to read. Okay, I can't. All right, so first of all, we're going to talk about this layer right here. Okay, this is the epidermis. Have y'all ever told anybody that their epidermis is showing? I know I have. That was one of my specialties in school. Okay, so epidermis. We have an upper epidermis and a lower epidermis. Okay, and it is covered by the little cuticle. Here, we'll write cuticle here. And the cuticle is this outside part here. Okay, and remember, it's not made out of cells. It is a waxy coating. And the wax acts like a covering. It protects the plant and so that it won't lose water through these cells. Okay. All right. The mesophyll is right here, and this is where all the chloroplasts are. Okay, so I don't think I need to go on, but I hope you guys can see that I just added some chloroplasts here. Okay, this is the mesophyll. Okay, and then right down right here. And what does the mesophyll do? It's where the photosynthesis happens. Okay, then we have this lower layer, which is also called mesophyll, but it's a spongier layer because it has a lot of holes in it. And that is where we're going to have our veins, right? So here is the vein. Pretty cool, huh? Just like we have veins, they also have veins. Okay, so the vein does the same thing in plants like it does in humans. It transports substances, okay? And we're going to get pretty specific here. We're going to talk about xylem and phloem. So we're going to use blue for xylem, okay? And we'll do this up here. Xylem, water, up, and then phloem is this stuff over here. And then phloem, L-O-E-M, food, down. Okay? And then we're also going to talk about the our little stomata down here. Okay? So the stomata, well, this is the guard cells, okay, and it's over here too. Okay, those are the guard cells, and the stomata is the hole in the middle. All right, so this is the stoma because it's pointing to one hole in the middle, And then these are the guard cells. Okay, this is the epidermis, also epidermis, the cuticle. This is the mesophyll. Okay, and this is also mesophyll. This up here is pointing to, whoops, I'm sorry. This up here is pointing to a chloroplast. Okay, okay. So I am going to put these notes and these notes on Schoology for you to check them. Okay, just to make sure you have everything that you need. And then right now at the bottom, I would like you to just try to summarize them. Okay, let's see. Plants use leaves. And then we talked about why plants use roots to ... And then photosynthesis is amazing. Photosynthesis is when ... Okay, so you don't have to use these sentence stems, but they are there for you if it helps you get started. Okay, all right, so I'm going to put a key to these notes in Schoology, and hold on to these, put them in your binder, because this is what you're going to study for the test. Thank you.